What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another extremely important AMC update to bring all of you this evening. So what we're going to be covering in this video is a massive $338 million bullish bet on AMC that institutions have been making over the last quarter. This is very good news. And when we compare the buys versus the sells of shares of AMC that institutions have been making over the past quarter, you're going to see that this number in this disparity is absolutely insane. We're also going to be covering the most recent and up-to-date numbers that we have from iBorrowdesk. So the reason why I like to look at iBorrowdesk is we can actually track the amount of shares that are available to be shorted in a very short time period. And we also have a very substantial price target upgrade that AMC has received today. So we have a lot of information to cover in this video. So make sure you guys stick until the end so you're caught up with everything that happened with AMC over this past week and what we can prepare for going into the next week. So before we get into all of that information, if you guys would like to earn 2 free stocks with Webull valued up to $1,850, make sure you check out that link down below in my description. So we had an absolutely amazing week for AMC over this last week. So we saw the stock go from the $9 range and we ended up closing today at $12.98. We did have a little bit of a battle towards the end of the day, as you can see right here, for this $13 price point. But when we come over to the option chain, we can see that for this week that we have, all of these options have recently expired. There are a lot of options that expired in the money. Now, the reason why we saw most likely AMC rally up so much is that a lot of these options contracts were being hedged by these institutions that have sold them to us. And what they do in order to hedge these options contracts is they go out on the open market and purchase the appropriate amount of shares. Now, next week is going to be a very huge week for AMC. Now, the reason for that is that we have a monthly expiration date for options. So typically, a monthly expiration date typically has a higher open interest and a higher volume. We can see the volume on these contracts for next week, the ones that expire on May 21st, 2021, have a very high volume and a very high open interest. I'm assuming that the institutions have started to hedge these 15s, but if we come down to these 20s, if AMC starts to rocket and breaks that $14.50 mark, they're going to have to start being prepared that AMC is going to go up to 20. So this is going to be a very pivotal week coming up for AMC. Now, when we take a look at the most recent data from iBorrowdesk, we can see that at the current time, there are 150,000 shares available to be shorted for AMC, and the short fee right here, the borrow rate, is at 74%. Now, we did see this go as high as 90.1% earlier this week, and it has recently settled down, but this is still a very high rate, and it is very expensive for these institutions to be continuously shorting AMC. Now, let's briefly talk about this price target upgrade that AMC has received, and then we're going to get into these massive institutional purchases and bets that are going on with AMC. So after a secondary stock offering netted AMC Entertainment Holdings some $428 million, one analyst thinks the theater operator's finances are increasingly solidifying, and that could send its stock sharply higher. A confluence of events caused B. Riley analyst Eric Wold to raise his price target on AMC to $16 a share from $13 and reiterated his buy rating. So overall, these price upgrades really don't change anything about the fundamentals of AMC as a company, and definitely don't change anything about the fact that we have the best opportunity for a short squeeze that we may ever see again in our lifetime. We are seeing regulation and proposed rule changes coming left and right, and at the current time, these proposed rule changes could set off the squeeze from AMC sooner than we are expecting, but it's going to make these types of situations in the future a lot harder to happen. Now, when we move over to MarketBeat, let's take a look at this massive bet that institutions are placing on shares of AMC. So when we look right here, we can see that these numbers are showing up as Q2 2021, but since Q2 is still occurring, these numbers are reflecting the buys and sells of institutions that have come out from the 13F filings that we have received from the first quarter of 2021. And we can see that $338 million worth of AMC has been bought and only $6 million worth of AMC has been sold. This is a massive disparity in the inflows versus the outflows, and this shows that institutions are incredibly bullish on AMC going forward. Now, what's interesting about this $338 million number is that it's heavily concentrated in a couple of different institutions. When we come down here, we can see that Geode Capital Management owns about $63 million worth of AMC. Northern Trust owns about $37 million. And Bank of New York Mellon, so BNY Mellon, owns about $15 million worth of AMC. This is heavily concentrated right here and shows us that a couple of these institutions are incredibly bullish on AMC. Now, what this also could suggest to us is that these institutions possibly could be the ones that are lending out shares to these different companies like Citadel or Melvin Capital in order for them to short. Now, even though this is very good news that institutions are taking such large positions in AMC, we do have to be kind of careful, even though retail owns about 80% of all of these shares of AMC. Now, the reason for this is that, yes, at the current time, institutions buying up such large amounts of AMC is definitely going to give everyday investors some more confidence in their conviction in their decision to invest in AMC. But if the stock price of AMC were to double, triple, or quadruple in a short period of time, I would not be surprised to see these different institutions listed here sell off a portion or all of their position in AMC. That's just how they do things at these institutions. If they see a double, triple, or a quadruple in one of their positions, it makes sense for them to sell off a portion of it because they do a lot of rebalancing in these portfolios. Now, this is not me trying to spread FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, but this is a reasonable expectation for what these institutions could possibly do. Now, we also have a couple of other institutions that have massive positions in AMC. We have Vanguard Group right here with 37 million shares reported on the 14th, which was today, which is very large. They actually changed their position amount by 388%. So Vanguard still incredibly bullish on AMC. We also have BlackRock. They reported on May 7th. They increased their position size by 340% and now have a position size of 27.3 million shares. And then we have Geode, which we have just talked about before. So there are a lot of these institutions that have a very bullish outlook on AMC going forward. But again, retail is going to set the price. If we own 80% or even more, with this number, this 80% number was only accurate as of the beginning of March. We've seen many more people hop on the AMC train and buy a lot more shares. So we could see this number get to 90%, 100%, or even over 100% of the total shares that are available. Now, the reason that we could see this percentage actually go over 100% is obviously the amount of synthetic shares that have been sold onto the market. So that is essentially going to wrap up this AMC video. I believe that this is just getting started. I think we have a long way to go. So buckle in, and we are in for a very nice treat over the next couple of months once this squeeze ends up kicking off. So I hope you guys were able to learn something out of this video and enjoy the information that I was able to present. So that is going to conclude this update. If you guys enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps me out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people as possible. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So I hope you guys were able to have a really profitable day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.